Jackpot is a 2024 film directed by Paul Feig, written by Rob Yescombe, and we have a cast including John Cena and Awkwafina. And when I read the description for this, part of me went, no thank you, and part of me went, yes please, I really want to see this. The no thank you is because the description on IMDb starts with, in the near future, and for whatever reason, I just tend to not like films set in the near future. There are some exceptions, of course, but in general, it's not something towards which I gravitate. But then I read the rest of the description, and I got very excited, because the film is about this new lottery in California. And if somebody wins the lottery, anybody, has the opportunity to murder that person before sundown. And if somebody murders the lottery winner, the murderer gets the jackpot. Which sounded absolutely insane, and I had to see it, and I'm pleased to say that I rather enjoyed it for two reasons. The first reason is the cast. John Cena and Awkwafina are just absolutely fantastic, great performances, really, really funny, really enjoyed them together. Their characters are great. John Cena's character, Noel, is protecting Katie, who wins the lottery, of course, and I first thought, well, very quickly, I had the thought of, well, why don't you just give the money up? If your options are be murdered or run around everywhere and try and prevent being murdered, just give the money up. It's not worth your life. But we actually get explanations for why that's not the case. So I did have several questions going into it, and those questions were all answered, I'd say, relatively quickly. And in general, the first half of the film is my favourite. It's exciting, it's thrilling, it's unpredictable. I really loved it. The second half, it maybe slowed down a little bit, but not to the point where I wasn't enjoying it. And ultimately, I came away from it feeling satisfied with the narrative. It was interesting, it was unpredictable. We had some great characters, very, very fast pace, which is understandable because they are racing around trying to escape being killed. So that made a lot of sense, and I rather enjoyed that. So the narrative is one reason why I liked it. The characters are the other. So even when the narrative started to slow down a little bit, the characters were still very strong, the performances were still brilliant, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It's very funny, and it takes a lot to make me laugh with comedy films, not with TV shows, with sitcoms, comedy panel shows, raucous laughter. It's amazing. But with films, for some reason, I struggle to laugh out loud at comedy films. And that's not to say I laughed out loud at any point with this one, but it was very funny, very entertaining. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Very well written characters, very funny dialogue, wonderful performances, generally a very well executed narrative, and I had a lot of fun with it. Does it now mean I'm going to jump into any film that says that it's set in the near future? No, it does not. But maybe I should be more open-minded about that, because whenever I see that, I kind of turn away, and maybe I shouldn't. One of my main goals this year, and I have to say I'm doing rather well with it, is to watch a greater variety of films, to try films that I wouldn't normally watch. And I'm doing quite well with that, because there are a lot of films that I've watched this year that I wouldn't normally pay attention to, but driven by this need to expand the kind of films I watch, I've actually found that I've really enjoyed some that I wouldn't otherwise have cared for. And that's not necessarily the case with this film, because as I said, it did sound really brilliant, despite the in the near future bit. But it does prove to me that maybe I shouldn't judge a film based on a very brief description before giving it a chance. And I'm really glad I gave Jackpot a chance. Very fun, very entertaining, very well written, beautifully filmed, great performances. Absolutely loved it. Jackpot is an absolute delight. And I was just about to say that I'd love it if there were a sequel. I would absolutely watch it. And I just Googled this, and I found I didn't look too deeply into it, but there's a random article on Screen Rant published last week that says Paul Feig is interested in making a sequel. And he apparently already has a story for it, which I would absolutely love. I'll cross my fingers with that one. It doesn't seem to be very well received. The Screen Rant article points out that it has a 31% Rotten Tomatoes rating. And on IMDb, it has 5.8 out of 10 across 30,000 reviews and ratings, which is not a terrible rating. Anything under 6 is generally not the best received. But 5.8 still not terrible. I loved it though. I thought it was a great film. I'd absolutely watch a sequel. Fingers crossed that happens. And for now, I'm pleased to say that Jackpot was an absolute delight. Very glad I watched it. And of course, I'm very happy to recommend it.